On behalf of the Canadian Bar Association BC Branch, it is my pleasure to present this award to you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Good evening, Chief Justice Bowman, Chief Justice Hinkson, Chief Judge Crabtree, Minister Anton, honorable judges of our courts, learned friends, and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I would begin by thanking the Canadian Bar Association BC Branch for this incredible honor. I did not have the privilege of knowing Mr. Goyer, and after speaking to those who did, I'm sorry I did not. To leave a legacy of service and a life so well lived, despite its length, is an accomplishment to which we all should strive. I'm also sorry I can't be present tonight in person. Even though I'm not a member of the Vancouver Bar, you do throw a great party, and I'm sure tonight will be no exception. While I will offer more thanks shortly, I understand it's customary to give some words of wisdom to our younger colleagues, and here's what I have to offer. Say yes. Say yes to joining professional organizations, say yes to volunteering, and particularly say yes when you're going to have to learn something new as a part of that volunteering. I was lucky enough to become chair of the Canadian Bar Association Victoria Family Law section in the early 1990s. I think I took the job because no one else wanted it. Being chair led me to provincial council, and that worked for a time to the executive, and that led to other committee appointments. And it was on those committees that I had the privilege of meeting and working with so many of you in the room today. Say yes until you have to learn to say no, and then learn to say no. That might need to be repeated. Be present. Saying yes isn't much help if you don't actually follow through. As hard as it is for younger lawyers to be present at home, not just at work. And sometimes you have to sacrifice quantity for quality in both places. Be a part of your community, at work and at home. Having lawyer friends is not an oxymoron. In fact, behind every successful lawyer is a lineup of other successful lawyers. Lawyering is hard work, and it's overwhelming in a vacuum. Having colleagues to call on for advice or simply for a laugh at the end of the day is invaluable. Remember, the best thing about having lawyers as friends is they understand. They get it, whatever it is at that particular time. Laugh. Laughter is truly the best medicine and a very good antidote to taking yourself, your files, your clients, or anything else too seriously. Be kind. A little bit of kindness goes a long way, and kindness is never wasted. And be kind to yourself. Be a member of your professional organizations. The Canadian Bar Association BC Branch has an endless source of ways to say yes, to be present, to work with other lawyers, to laugh, and to practice being kind. Well, my volunteer work predated law school, and I have swung between legal or professional work and work in my own community. Being a student member and then a regular member of the Canadian Bar Association has been foundational in my work as a lawyer. I don't know if being grateful is advice or is a way of seeing the world. However, I'm grateful for all the support I've received. I'm going to offer a list, which is not exhaustive, and if it was, we'd be here all night. As it is, it's probably too long. I'm sorry. And here's a list which should be read as includes, not means. I am grateful for UVic Law, past, present, and future, and special thanks to you, Jeremy Weber, and for the former Dean, Donna Greshner. I'm thankful for George McKim, Malin McKim's father, for being such a wise principal. For Donna Iverson and Larry Wong for giving me a job in 1988. For the Canadian Bar Association BC Branch, bless you for surviving and even thriving despite the loss of universality. For the support and friendship of Nancy Merrill. For Pinda Chima QC and Dean Lawton for their support. For all the good work done by our benchers. These are not easy times, and their work on our behalf is often under-celebrated and underappreciated. For Pat Schmidt and the other life benchers who continue to give of their time and expertise. For Carrie Simmons QC, who took time out of her day to actually be present with me today as I tape this message. And for the next generation of lawyers who are taking up leadership roles in the profession. For Jerry McHale QC and Catherine Burge QC for being there as wonderful examples of family lawyers and mediators, and for always helping out in Victoria and beyond. For John Waddell QC, for being John. What more can be said? For Warren Wilson QC, for not only being a great example of how to chair a meeting, but for also being a tireless supporter of women in leadership roles. While successful women often get the support of other successful women, I don't know a successful woman who doesn't have a successful man as a mentor. For Wayne Robertson, QC, whose passion for justice is infectious and for being such a joy to work with despite declining interest rates. For Johan Blinken and Courthouse Libraries BC for their support of new initiatives like Click Law and JP Boyd's Wikibook. For Heather Raven for proposing me as a possible governor to Law Foundation of British Columbia. For Trudy Brown QC, Jane Henderson QC, there's a lot of QCs here. Eugene Raponi QC, Bob Gill, Richard Stewart QC, and all the family lawyers I've had the pleasure of working with in Victoria. You rock. For Nancy Cameron QC, Megan Ellis QC, and Morag McLeod, you're such terrific examples of lawyering in a large community, and I consider myself blessed to call you my friends. For Barbara Finley QC, for reminding me to always tilt at windmills. What is outrageous now could be good social policy in 10 years. For a judiciary that's honorable and trustworthy. How incredible to be a part of a community of lawyers, judges, and government folk who know the rule of law is fragile and must be actively supported. I'm almost done. I'm particularly grateful to that crazy gang at the Quadrilegal Center, both past and present. And Robin Baird, if you're present tonight, that includes you, and you too, David G. Perry. As a feminist, this is always difficult for me, as I am also very, very grateful for the two important men in my life who make every day a better day. I'm grateful for the wonderful, incredibly patient husband of mine, Don Miller, and for my irascible, talented, and surprisingly patient business partner, Colin Robinson. That's a long thank you, but thank you for this wonderful award, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Good night.